Alright, hello everyone and welcome. We're ready for another data. Oh well, I guess we're not doing one today.
Hello and welcome to another Bringing the Thunder. That's right, we have another DataMiner Kata lined up just for you and for me as well. Always interesting to see all the new things that DataMiner has to offer. Today I am joined by a new guest, but definitely not a new colleague of mine. I might even say colleague, well, almost friend. I love working with you, the times we have done so. This is Yves. Now, Yves, tell us a little bit, who are you and what do you do here at Skyline?
I'm Yves, as you said. I've been along for a very long time, and currently I'm a solutions architect.
Yeah.
So I basically help people build the best possible solutions.
The nicest, best architectural solutions. Amazing. Now, you've prepared something for us today. What is the topic? What are we going to do?
Well, today we're going to have a look at how we can leverage the DOM editor to generate code for our DOM definitions.
Right.
And then use that so we can create some quick and clean code when interacting with our DOM.
So, not just manually creating the DOM, definitions, modules, but actually automating that a little bit and generating it.
No, really taking the definition that you have and then translating that definition into code. So when you want to interact with it, recreate it on another system or generate instances that you can use.
Okay, it's kind of like making an API then.
No.
I keep saying wrong things. Maybe I should just let Yves
That's why
do
I'm
what
the
he does.
architect.
Do what he does and give me the information.
No, and everything will become clear once we start to do it.
Everything will become clear once we do it.
Yeah.
Now, Yves, any prerequisites? Do they need a specific DataMiner version? Do they need a DMAP or something to get started?
So they'll definitely need a DataMiner version 10.3.10 or higher. Obviously DOM, which means an indexing database or stars or DAS.
Yeah, okay.
So that will help as well. We're going to write code, so it obviously helps if you have Visual Studio with this installed.
Yeah.
You don't need it, but for this cut I will use it. But technically you could do it without, although I advise to use it.
It's probably easier with the extension than the IDE. Yeah.
And then finally, some basic DOM knowledge. I mean, we can do a quick recap on what DOM is all about and the terminology.
Sure.
But in essence, it helps if you know how to code a little and if you have worked with DOM before as well.
Would they be able to spin up a DAS instance and use that? Would that have everything you need except the IDE?
Yeah. If you spin up a DAS, you can then deploy a couple of packages from the catalog. We'll do it as well, and then they'll have everything they need. So they can just start from a clean system and run through the exercise without any problems.
Sounds fun. Shall we jump in?
Yeah, we'll jump in.
Okay.
So maybe first we can take a look at DOM, maybe do a quick recap. So I just put on my screen a small overview of a DOM definition and a couple of DOM instances.
Yeah.
So what's a DOM definition? It's basically a collection of data fields that you can use. So my DOM definition is built out of multiple section definitions. So I have a DOM definition for a person, and it has two sections, personal details and professional details. So the DOM definition is the person, the section definitions are the personal details or the professional details.
All right.
And then my section contains so-called field descriptors, which are fields where my data is actually
the data
present.
will be once you make an instance of this. Pretty much you're like describing columns and tables and things you would see in a database, pretty much.
Yeah.
But this is a textual representation.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So this is what you can see. So I have a DOM definition person, a DOM definition role.
Yeah.
And they can be combined into what we call a DOM module. So multiple definitions can again be grouped with settings. And that's a DOM module.
Yeah.
So those are my DOM definitions. I need to have a DOM definition if I want to store some data in my DataMiner objects. And then we can store the actual data in so-called DOM instances.
Yes, the instances.
Yeah. So on the right-hand side, you can see I created a couple of persons. I have 3 DOM instances, one for myself, 2 for some colleagues of mine, and then all the fields have their respective value.
Perfect.
So that's just a quick recap on DOM. Let's prepare a system to do the
So the prerequisites, you said a few DMAPs and a few packages to install.
Exactly.
So gonna guess on the catalog, we'll find those.
So first we'll go to the catalog. I guess most people that have worked with DOM before will already have the DOM editor package. But if they don't have it, you can just go to DOM editor.
Okay. And this is a production level application, or is it just a tutorial exercise?
No, this is a application that you can really use to define your DOM definitions or to.
It's not just a dummy, a training.
No,
it's an actual.
Yeah. Okay, this is the real deal.
The real deal.
So let's deploy it on our Kata DataMiner. That's the first one.
Okay.
And then to help us with this exercise or this
specifically therefore.
We also prepared a package where we put in a low-code app and already a DOM definition, so you don't have to bother about that. This really should focus about generating the code. So let's search for it. Tutorial generating code with the DOM editor. So this is not really something production ready. It's just something
for the demo,
there to help us out doing the exercise.
Perfect.
We'll deploy that one as well. All right, or Kata DataMiner. And that's now in progress.
Perfect.
Let's take a look and see if we can spot the app. So the application which is included in the demo package is the event management application.
Okay.
And if we open that up, it's just a basic dummy application where we'll see a table that can list multiple DOM instances. I can use it to view it, add it, or delete so-called events that we're going to add.
All right, so just a low-code app that'll show us what is on the system concerning DOM in this case.
Exactly. Right. So we have a table, there's a refresh button because the table doesn't refresh automatically. And an add button. We'll use that in a sec.
Okay.
What we deployed as well with our package is, if I go to automation, we'll see that we have the DOM, and then the domain scripts where we'll see the DOM editor. So that is deployed with the DOM editor, and if we run our DOM editor, we'll see that we'll have a DOM definition on our system called event management, so that's also deployed with the tutorial package.
That's the one you deployed with the tutorial package. Makes sense, okay.
Now, if we have a real quick peek at what's in the definition, there's one definition called event, and in the event, we'll find one section.
All right.
Which is called event info.
All right.
And if I take a look at the fields in our section definitions,
things are coming back to me a little bit. I think I've done so many of these katas, I start forgetting, but I think we've seen this editor before.
Yes,
we have.
You should be familiar with it. I think there was a basic DOM tutorial at some point.
Yes. We'll link it right now. Sorry, marketing. Just link it everywhere. No, but this coming back to me a little bit. Seeing this and then going through that. So indeed.
So
we can see there the different fields.
Just wanted to highlight that for this exercise, we'll be using 4 fields: a name for an event, a start time, end time, and a couple of notes. Okay. Now, let's do the real thing. So we're all about generating the code. And maybe I'll just close the DOM editor altogether again.
Okay.
And I'll start from scratch. So now we're going to use this DOM editor that we used to define our DOM definition to generate some code as well. So I'll start the DOM editor.
Okay. And that's a part of the DOM editor then that probably we haven't seen yet, or is it new?
Well, it's been around for a while. I think probably a year.
All right.
Don't hold that against me.
So it might not have been in the... I don't know how long ago the previous video was. It might not have been in there yet.
No, it might not have been in there yet, but it's pretty obvious now. And when we start the DOM editor at the bottom,
generate code.
We see generate code. And so if we click on it, we see a list of all our DOM definitions. I only have one. And if I check it and I say generate, what it'll basically will do is it will generate a code representation of my DOM module, DOM definitions, section definitions, field descriptors. Everything which is defined in my object model.
I can see a bunch of classes there, some constants. Okay, so it's giving you everything that's in that DOM template pretty much, and it's generating that in code. Okay.
Okay, now we're going to use this to write our code in a much more easy way than it would have been if we didn't have this. So yeah, let me just show it to you. Everything will be clear.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to use Visual Studio with this. So let's start Visual Studio. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new project.
All right.
We know that we have a couple of templates available. They come with this. So we want to create an automation script to interact with our DataMiner object model, or DOM.
Right.
So we need to give the solution a name. So eventually what I'll do is I'll generate some DOM instances representing these Kata events. So I'll just call it Kata event generator.
You're gonna need to make a lot of them already.
Yes.
I think
that's why we did that. You'll see how easy it is.
Okay. Because I think we've got, this is season 3, I think. So yeah, they keep asking me back. I get paid, man. You get paid? I get paid. You don't get paid.
I have a word with HR.
Oh, I keep convincing them to do another season. It's awesome. Hey, keep watching. Apparently, everyone enjoys.
If you have an audience,
Okay, good. So in that automation script,
yes, let's give it a name as well. Generate Kata events. And I'm the author.
Okay.
Nothing new there. I guess you also covered that in another Kata before.
Yeah. We've seen a few. There was creating from the template an automation script in Visual Studio with DIS.
Yeah. And so here I have my basic solution to create an automation script.
Yes.
If I open up my main CS file, I have everything to start writing code. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a copy of the generated code and we're going to paste that in our solution. So I'll go to my DOM editor. I just select everything. I'll copy it. And then I'll go back to Visual Studio. And under my project, I'm going to add a new item. And I'm just going to call this DOM IDs.
Yeah.
DOM IDs. I'll just remove everything which is in there. And then I'll paste the generated code.
All right.
So we can have a quick peek at it. It includes a warning that it's auto-generated.
Yes.
And that it's ideally not something that people
don't touch it.
tweak. No, if you change your DOM definition, you just regenerate the code, paste it back here. That's the whole idea.
Cool.
And then it contains a description, the name of the module, the section definitions, the fields, and the respective IDs.
Yeah, you've got a kind of an auto-generate API or library that you put in that code, and then you can use that. Yeah.
And now interacting with DOM will be very, very easy.
Straightforward.
Yeah. One more thing I'll do before I get started is I will update some of the nuggets to leverage the latest features to interact with DOM.
Yeah, never a bad idea.
Never a bad idea. So by default, when you generate a new automation script, it starts with Nugget version 10.2.25, at least right now. And we need to pick anything which is 10.3.10 or higher.
Yeah.
So I could go for the latest, but if you're on an older DataMiner system, you could pick the Nugget version that matches your DataMiner system.
Usually a good idea to develop against the version that you're intending to apply it on.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. And now I'm ready to get started. So I'll go to my automation script.
Yep.
Maybe I'll make some space available. Yeah.
And now we're going to use that library we just pasted in there.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to reference the code that was generated. So I'm going to type using DOM IDs. You see it already recognizes it. And that's basically not the file name of the class we added, but really the name of the namespace.
Yep.
So just so you're aware, you could rename this to anything you like, and then this would also change. Okay, so the first thing that we need if you want to interact with DOM through an automation script is a DOM helper.
Okay.
So let's start to create a DOM helper. So the DOM helper is
calling the constructor and creating an instance of your DOM helper class.
And so we can already see that when I'm creating my DOM helper, it's associated with a DOM module.
Yes.
And so I need to provide the module ID. Do you remember what it was? I can hard code it.
I do not remember what the module ID was, so I'm going to guess most people wouldn't remember and they have to look it up.
Exactly, but that's a bit silly. So that's why we generated code. And now we can get some help from the IntelliSense in Visual Studio.
DOM IDs, there's a field in there on a variable.
Yes. Yeah. So we can say, you know, the DOM IDs, which is that namespace of that auto-generated code, dot, and now I see my event management module.
Right.
And I want to have the module ID as defined in my tooltip here.
Yeah.
So I can just type in DOM IDs or the event management module ID. Yeah. And DataMiner will look it up and automatically place the correct thing.
And that's why Visual Studio here is good as an ID for this thing, because it has that IntelliSense, it has the ability to, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it helps us out. And this also means that now I have some readable code. Yeah. Because it basically tells me
what you're working
with. I added the DOM IDs in front. Actually, it's not required. You see it's even dimmed out. I could remove it. I just put it in there so it's a little bit more obvious. Yeah. But it's coming from it because I'm referenced the namespace up here. It's not really required.
Yeah. Always a good tip if you're not sure what is inside of the library. Start with the namespace. Yeah. Push dots and keep going through.
It will tell you.
Drill through it. Yeah.
All right, so let's create a DOM instance because our app was quite empty. So let's see how this auto-generated code will help us. Yeah. So we need a new DOM instance. So DOM instance. Okay. There's a new DOM instance.
Yeah. So
and then we need to mention the associated definition ID. So the DOM definition ID is. And again, we're going to leverage that auto-generated code. So the DOM IDs dot my event management module dot
giving you the suggestions on
DOM definitions. Yes. So, and actually, based on the context, Visual Studio even tries to help me further because it knows that I want to use event.
It keeps getting better and better. Yes, and the co-pilots and all of that, and the
we'll soon be out of a job unless we host Katas, of course.
I mean, I've used quite some of that AI code. I'm not sure I'm going to be out of a job anytime soon. It's not always the best.
I think we're safe.
It helps a lot with boilerplate code and being quicker. But now I spend more time debugging than writing code.
Debugging the AI code.
Debugging the AI. Anyway,
it's an idea for the
we do get nice suggestions.
So we get nice suggestions. We have a helper which allows us to interact with DOM. We have an instance, but obviously our instance is still empty. So let's add or update some fields. All right, I'll take my DOM instance dot add or update field value.
Okay.
And now I need to provide a section definition ID. So DOM IDs dot event management dot sections dot event info. So that dot ID, so the ID of my section, and then the actual field within that section I want to set. So again, DOM IDs dot and management.
Yeah. The generated code doesn't even make that quite easy to drill down and have a much more readable code if you.
And I can immediately see what fields I have available. So you can see over here it lists that I have my event name, my start, my end, and my notes. So again, that's a way that the generated code helps you if you're interacting with a DOM that you might not have created. They just gave you the generated code. You immediately see what fields do I have available. So it's pretty neat.
And it's cool.
Awesome. The event name, and now just the final thing to do is give it a value. So we're going to say Kata. And that's it. So now what we did is we basically
create a single field in an instance, which is part of your event management module.
Exactly.
Have you created it yet, or do we need to do like a save? Or
we still need to create it. So basically, we just start to create a definition and put in values. So we'll see that after I've added all my values, I still need to ask the DOM helper to actually create it. So now I'm just building up my object, and then I'm going to pass it on to the DOM helper to actually put it into
All right.
DataMiner.
Okay.
Again, we see some suggestions from the IntelliSense. It knows that the next field is the start time field. And thanks to the generated code, it can suggest a lot of things for me.
Yeah.
So it helps me. All I have to do is tap, and it will automatically fill in the start field with the current date.
Yep.
And I left my DOM script running in the background.
It timed out.
It timed out. All right. So yeah, and again, since it's so easy, I'm immediately going to fill in all the fields. So the end time, I'm going to fill it in.
Yeah.
And finally, there's a notes field, and it suggests this as well. So, you know,
Enter tab, enter tab.
generating code. I told you we were generating code, not writing code.
Yeah.
And then the final step for me is going to be to create that DOM instance.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask the DOM helper to DOM instances. Create my DOM instance.
I see, like that. Okay.
And that's it.
That's going to trigger it. So if we upload and or publish that automation script and run it, we should in theory see a new instance.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So that's exactly what I'll do. I'll go to my automation XML file to publish it to my DataMiner system. So I have my publish button here. I'll just quickly
select the right one,
push it to the right DataMiner. I'm going to push this automation script to the Kata DataMiner. Just as a recap, our events table was empty. I can refresh it. There's nothing in there.
Yeah.
And if I now go to the automation script I just created.
This is the drum roll moment.
The drum roll moment.
See if we wrote a bug somewhere.
No, I don't do bugs. It's not even appearing.
Oh no!
No, I know it's patience.
It is publishing probably, and
it's the first time I publish, so it needs to set up the connection and authentication and then verify my rights and everything that goes with that.
Yeah.
So
and it is a DOS, meaning it's running in the cloud as well. So
now it's doing uploading package.
There we go.
And there it is. So generate Kata events. If I hit execute, no warnings, no errors, no nothing. So let's see if that worked.
Okay.
Let's take a look at our application. I don't see anything, but obviously I mentioned it. Refresh. You still need to hit that refresh button. And
let's see what
now drum roll.
Now a drum roll.
Ta-da! Kata with a start time and time nodes.
Perfect.
Things there. So quite cool.
Yeah.
So we generated this with
little
to no effort.
No, you generate the code. You have a nice library, allows you to drill down from the namespace down even.
Yeah.
And in a few lines of code, you can make a new instance. And at that point, it's whatever you want to do with it. You want to for loop that. You want to,
I mean, I like the suggestion. So we have one Kata event, but obviously you don't want to be out of a job. So I'll remove this one and we'll generate a lot more. So imagine now that I pass on this code that I created to my colleague. I said, generate them for the rest of the year. Sure. He can take the code. He can easily read what it's all about. So he can, thanks to the generated code, see what we're setting. Instead of seeing GUIDs or funky IDs, we can see a very readable code. And let's generate them for the rest of the year. So let's say daytime. Kata time is new daytime. So let's see. The first Kata of this year would have been on the 3rd if you weren't on holiday.
I don't know.
I do.
I don't remember.
Let's say that you...
But you remember.
I remember.
Okay.
So let's say that the first Kata would have been on the 3rd of January around 10 o'clock. And then let's generate a for loop. So for integer week.
I'm going to do a 52.
Week smaller than 52. And
it already gives you a bunch of
but
options.
This is where the AI is messing up. So I'm gonna loop 52 times because there's 52 weeks in a year through my code, and we already wrote the code to generate the DOM instance. So I'll just move it into that loop.
Okay.
I need to make some small tweaks, and again, it's very readable. So the event name Kata is not going to be sufficient. So let's add in the week number.
Yeah.
let's say week, and then
We can just say
Week.
variable of your integer.
yeah. And I'm gonna do +1 because I started 0 base to count the number of weeks in the year. That would be a bit strange. And then the daytime is no longer the daytime, but it's kata time.
It's
It's
Kata
cat
time.
time. And apparently it's cat time.
It's cat time.
That is even better.
You just said it.
Okay, and let's say that it'll only take an hour. And this is kata event for
Yeah, okay. We're going full on.
We're going full
We're
on.
doing it.
Yeah.
Doing it correctly. We're doing it right.
Okay.
Don't forget the $sign there.
Yeah, and now the one thing that I can't forget is to increment my cat time dot add days,
And then add 7.
and we're gonna add 7 days to
Nice.
increment or kata time with a week.
There we go.
All right, so very easy.
No compiler errors, no problems, I think.
No problems. I just trust that everything goes smooth.
Yeah, sure.
Hey.
Okay, so we're uploading the package with the new script. So
Okay.
theoretically running that, we should end up with 53 events.
52.
Well, we already had one.
But I deleted it. So that's why I'm coming back again to prove it's empty. You have no work at all.
I did not notice you deleting that.
Yeah.
It's very sneaky and quick of you.
I know, years of experience. I'm still way faster than you.
Way faster than me. Okay.
Okay, so if I run my script again, I execute it.
Okay. And now it's looping through
It's
everything.
looping through it 52 times. And if we refresh,
We should see all the katas there.
I can tell you that you're going to have a kata. Oh, I made a mistake.
Apparently so.
So the week number is okay, but the start and end time are wrong.
Maybe you were a bit too quick.
I was too quick.
It's also my fault. I was looking at
But
the
you're
same-
distracting me. So
Do we distract? I don't know.
cat time.
Let's see. Do we find the problem?
Yes, I know. So I should actually assign cat time equals. I should make sure that.
Put it in there.
Yeah. Come on.
Indeed, because it returns a new instance of
Yes,
the
yeah,
date
yeah.
time object.
Obvious. Obvious.
Obvious.
So now it's a little annoying that all these ones are here. So I'm going to just quickly show you another trick.
Okay.
I didn't plan for it, but I can also use the DOM editor to remove all my DOM instances in bulk. So I'll quickly do that.
Well, there we go. Sometimes you need to make little mistake and then you get to see how you solve these things.
I wasn't going to say it, but I did it on purpose.
Of course you did.
So I'm going to delete these guys real quick.
Okay.
Okay, delete complete. And so now I'm going to generate them all over again.
Refresh maybe the view.
First, refresh the view.
Have a check.
They're gone.
Not that I don't trust you, but we should always double check.
We should always double check. So you can see they're gone, obviously.
Excellent.
And now I'm going to execute my script
Okay,
again.
now we should see. But either way, you've kind of already, even if it doesn't work, you've
I've proven the point, I guess.
point here in that you can use that generated code to then very quickly write. And
now it's correct. So
Yeah,
we're going to
right.
have one on the 2nd of May, the 9th of May, the 16th.
Yeah.
So very little effort.
Easily done, very little effort indeed.
Yes.
That's amazing. Is there, people who have been playing around with this, doing this exercise, is there a place where you think, hey, take a screenshot of that and we can prove that they've done it and they can get some juicy DevOps points from doing this?
Of course, I guess the current place is the perfect place. If they can maybe include their name in the event name then take a print screen, then they have a personalized version of this exercise.
Perfect. Okay, well, you heard it here. If you include your name in there, generate those weeks and those katas or anything else, honestly, just have a nice overview of events you created using this generated code. Amazing. Yves, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Showing me and everyone else this as well. A very amazing little feature, but it shows a lot.
Yeah,
You can do a
it's
lot.
very powerful.
Okay, well, for everyone watching from YouTube, don't forget like, subscribe, ring that little bell so you're always notified anytime we make a new video. Other than that, yeah, I wish you all the best and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.